What is your emergency?
There's a motorcycle accident right outside my apartment building. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but the guy was going so fast and hit something and just went flying. And now he's not moving, and there's just pieces of motorcycle everywhere. I can't really see everything that's going on, but there's stuff everywhere, and he's not moving.
The conference was at the end of October, and we'd all gone to Dallas. He had just determined that he was going to join the Juice Plus business with us, and that was great. It was a good experience for him. I think he enjoyed it. I think he saw some great potential, and came back and was excited and ready to roll.
2 days after we got home from the conference, Monday morning, got a text from his chief and said, would you come and do a flag ceremony for a Cardinals game? Dressed up in his uniform and jumped on his bike, and off he went. And that was the last we had heard from him. About 10 o'clock at night, we were literally just climbing into bed. Greg's phone rang, and he answered it. And it was the chief for Oliver's Navy.
He notified me that Oliver had been in a motorcycle accident, and all he really knew was that he was being taken to St. Joe's, and that he didn't have his helmet on.
In my mind, my other son had already had an accident, a motorcycle accident, and it was fixable. I never felt like he could die. That never entered my mind. But they took us up to the room. There was a lot of people standing around the room and looking at us, kind of staring at us, and in hindsight, feeling bad for us, knowing the situation. So they finally did let us into this big glass ICU room, and I walked in, and I looked at him, and his whole face was swollen. We were sitting there, and in my mind I was thinking, okay, we should be able to go home in a couple days. And that's where I found myself. I had no comprehension of the severity.
So it was about 2:33 in the morning. One of the nurses came in and grabbed me, and she said, I've got an officer out here in the hall, and he would like to talk to you. He said, I want you to know that I was the first officer on site, and I just want you to know that I was with your son the whole time, and I held him the whole time, and I want you to know that he was not alone. It meant so much to me. It was just an amazing gesture on his part, and it blew me away. And as a father, looking at my son lying there, not knowing if he was going to live or die. But what was more amazing was he showed up the next afternoon, and he brought Oliver's badge from his Navy uniform, his officer badge, and all his ribbons that he has earned while he was in the Navy. And that made a huge deal to me, because that badge is the one that I pinned on Oliver when he graduated from A school. It may have been the last thing that I could keep of my son.
My initial thought was, he's protected because he's had Juice Plus in his system for 8 years. So he's got a really strong immune system. And that's the hope that I found. I went to the ICU dietitian and said, this is fruits and vegetables in a capsule. I need this to get into him. Because if there's this much risk with his life, he has to have these nutrients. We had Mutray talk to the dietitian and got it cleared. And on day 3, we were opening a fruit, a vegetable, and a berry capsule into water, dissolving it, putting it in a syringe, and putting it in his feeding tube every 6 hours. Oliver, you're getting your first dose. Woohoo!
Thank you.
Look at me.
Look up real
Oliver,
tall.
you gotta look at me so we can walk.
Good. Oliver, lift your left leg up for me. Step it forward. Step it forward.
There you go.
Good. Now right foot.
Watch that.
Thank you.
Have you out chase some chickens before you know it?
Chickens, I was gonna have it running with a bowl.
The cool thing was, 53 days after his accident, on his own, without a wheelchair, without a walker, he walked out of that hospital. He could talk, he could eat, he could do everything on his own.
Hi, I'm Oliver Bryan. God put Juice Plus into my life 8 years prior and let this all happen because he knew that Juice Plus was going to give me the tools to fight. You know, give me what I needed to win this battle, to survive. The accident was the best day of my life because it made me who I am today. And I think that the same thing for my family, you know, it just all really brought us tight together and we just lean on each other. You know, when one of us needs something, we know we can always turn to our family because our family's always going to be there. You know, my dad used to do real estate for his entire life. He stepped down from that just so he could be with me, and because he didn't want to miss it. He wanted to be there to support me in every way.
Because Gregory saw the magnitude of what Juice Plus did, he made a decision that he could sell houses for the rest of his life, but it wasn't going to change people's lives.
The only thing that mattered to me once my son became stable was getting Juice Plus into it. And I'm sitting there going, how can I consider doing anything but share that with others?
I feel it's almost like an obligation to go share this product, you know. My dad made me a deal. He said, if you make SC before me, I will go skydiving with you. And I was like, done. So that's my ultimate goal, just so I can see him crying.